I honestly was concerned that homeschool moms on YouTube were only talking about it because they were sponsored by The Good and the Beautiful. I'm gonna update you on both of those visits and how we're feeling about classical conversation, all the curriculum that they use. I was having like chest pains. I had a bad EKG because there's only so much time in the day, Madison. It's very efficient. It's very like fast paced, like boom, bam, boom, boom, boom. Take time for yourself. So this is me saying, take some time for yourself. I see you if you are feeling overwhelmed and stressed and burnt out. Oh, you guys, today I had to bring out the big guns and Alani energy drink. This one is one of my faves, Pink Slush. You guys, I just have to say, you better believe that I love you guys and that I love talking about homeschool stuff, because we just visited another classical conversations community and I am wiped. But I'm also super like pumped about it and want to chat with you guys. Y'all are like the people I want to talk to about this kind of thing. Okay, so we're gonna drink our energy drink and we're gonna chat homeschooling, everything that has gone on this month in March. It has been a very busy month in March with a lot of changes, and it's just like, I don't know what's wrong with me, because most people are slowing down at this point in the year, like it's almost over, and I just keep like picking up speed. So clearly I'm gonna burn out at some point. But anyway, let's get into the video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Madison and I am a homeschooling mom of 4 kids ages 16, 8, 5, and 3. I've been homeschooling for quite a while now, but I've been recently really excited about posting on my homeschool channel. I have just been loving chatting with you guys in the comments. You guys have given me so many great ideas. Y'all give me such good input on the things I'm considering, and it's just been truly so much fun to make these videos lately. So I really appreciate those of you that have been watching, and I appreciate you if you're new as well. But we're just gonna get into this March update. I have a few things to update you guys on. I put it in my notes. My mind is just like, you never know what's gonna go on. Let's see. This is not the correct note. I want to chat with you guys on how our curriculum is going, update you guys on how it's been, going back to the good and the good and the beautiful, and all that fun stuff. I want to talk to you about classical conversations. We have visited 2 communities now. I think in my last video, did I say, I think I was like when I mentioned it, I was about to go visit a community, but I don't think I had gone yet, hopefully, because I'm gonna update you. Yeah, so I'm gonna update you on both of those visits and how we're feeling about classical conversations. I actually have a one of their brochures with like all the curriculum that they use for each like age and everything. There's kind of curriculum. I mean, they have like this main book, but then it's like all the books, the literature, and all of that. I was so excited when I got this today, because I was like, this is just what I needed to learn more about this. I love like learning about different books, and just I love curriculum, you guys know that. So anyway, I was excited to get that brochure. I also wanted to update you guys on our extracurriculars, because those had gotten out of hand. Okay, and I just feel like maybe some of you would relate, so I'm gonna update y'all on that. And then also just how things have been like affecting my health, as far as, that's my timer for the bacon, I better go check that. 1 second. But I wanted to update you guys on, like, I've actually been having like health issues that are like, I'm pretty sure directly related to stress. So I'll talk about that at the end. I do want to make, I think, a whole video on like avoiding homeschool burnout, or like what to do. I think I actually have a video where I talk about like what to do when you want to quit homeschooling, so maybe I'll link that below. It's an older video, so I'd have to watch it and make sure it's not super embarrassing, but I know I have talked about this topic before, but I think I have even more insight now, so that will probably be a whole video. But I do want to kind of like talk to you guys about my health, just because it's related to homeschooling. Okay, I just checked the bacon. It needs a few more minutes, so I'm gonna set a timer for that. The amount of times I have burnt bacon, you guys, just ask my family, it's bad. So I'm always trying to get it at like the perfect, you know, amount of like crispiness and not too crispy. And then sometimes I forget about it and it just burns. So anyway, let's get into this March update. So I will start with curriculum updates. We switched back to The Good and the Beautiful. I had used it for many years and I just felt like it was super hyped up. I honestly was concerned that homeschool moms on YouTube were only talking about it because they were sponsored by The Good and the Beautiful. And that was like literally the only reason. And it's funny that I say that today specifically because I actually went on YouTube. I was exhausted after visiting a classical conversations, and I got home and was like, okay, I'm gonna relax and like watch a YouTube video. And so I went to watch one of my favorite, I'm not gonna say the name, but one of my favorite homeschool moms here on YouTube. And she was doing a comparison video. And I was like, yes, finally, because she very rarely does that. And she was comparing two curriculum that I was interested in seeing a comparison of. Well, she doesn't mention that it's sponsored at the beginning of the video, which she normally does. She does a lot of sponsorships, but she'll always say like, thank you to so-and-so for sponsoring today's video or whatever. Which I am a YouTuber, obviously. I don't really do sponsorships here, and I don't really do them on my cleaning channel anymore, but there was a time when I did a ton of sponsorships on my cleaning channel, like I know all about that. And if you're putting tons and tons of hours into your YouTube channel, you deserve compensation. I don't think there's anything wrong with sponsorships if you are fully transparent about it. If you say from the beginning, thank you so-and-so for sponsoring this video. But if you don't say it at the beginning, maybe save it for the end, or you don't say it at all, I feel like that's one, might be illegal, but two, is just totally immoral at least. And so she didn't say it was sponsored, but so I'm watching it thinking this is totally unbiased, you know, and okay, I don't want to go off on this. Anyway, I might make a whole video on this topic of like trusting YouTubers like myself, you know, here on YouTube, and just like being careful. But anyway, she was clearly sponsored. I looked in the description and she was sponsored. But anyway, it said in the description box the video was sponsored. It was super obvious. It felt very disingenuous and just like not a real comparison, more so just a like review or highlight of one curriculum. But so the title was clickbait, misleading, because she was saying it was a comparison of two curriculum, and really she was sponsored by one, had her discount code on the screen the whole time, and was really mostly highlighting that curriculum and wasn't giving her genuine opinion on which one she preferred, just saying she was sticking to the facts and acting kind of judgmental about people who would do comparison videos. So anyway, it just felt icky, and I was just like, wow, that stinks, because I think she's a good person and I like her videos, but I was just like, wow, that was like a fail. I thought that was pretty icky. So anyway, I say all of that to say that I was wary of The Good and the Beautiful because so many people like that YouTuber and others have been highly sponsored by them. And I was like, am I just falling for like advertisement? Is this not really a good curriculum? Even though I have enjoyed it and liked it for the most part, except for their literature, which I made a whole video on their literature. I'll link it down below. I do not like their literature. And so I wanted to try other things, and I did. And it feels so good to be back. Like, I'm so glad to be back to The Good and Beautiful. It's just much more concise. If I had one child, or if I had kids like far apart in age or something like that, maybe these other curriculums would fit me and I would enjoy them more. And now obviously I'm talking about my opinion here. This is my YouTube channel. Like, that's what I thought was so funny when she's like, we're just sticking to the facts. I'm like, I can go on their website and read the facts. That's not why I'm watching this video. I want to know your opinion. You know, that's like what your YouTube channel is about, is your life and your opinion on things. So anyway, I have realized, no, I genuinely do like the Good and the Beautiful curriculum, regardless of whether other people are sponsored by them or not, and whether it's super hyped up or not on YouTube. I like it. I enjoy it. It's very concise, very efficient, yet thorough. Their language arts is extremely thorough. I think their math is pretty gentle, but how I'm going to go about that is we're just going to go faster through their levels is what I'm thinking. I'm very comfortable with math. So if you're not comfortable with math, like I'm not comfortable with like grammar or like grading papers. That's something I want help with, which I'll talk about that in a minute. But math, I've taken calculus 1, 2, and 3. Like I'm comfortable with math. I know what my kids need to know. And so I think that helps, you know. But anyway, every family is different. I know one family that most of the kids do the Good and Beautiful math, and one of them does math with confidence. So every kid's different, whatever. But I have been so much happier. Like we switched to the Good and the Beautiful kindergarten math for my 5-year-old, and oh my gosh, it's so much better. It's just simpler. It's simpler, it's cuter, it's just what I need right now with him. And it gives you like other ideas of like teaching them their phone number and just other things. So I have been loving that. And then we have tried starting their language arts kindergarten. I will say with the Good and the Beautiful, a downside is they really need to already know all their letters, like identify all the uppercase and lowercase and all their sounds to start the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. You will have trouble if you don't do that. And my 5-year-old is like almost there, but not totally. So there's a couple booster cards at the beginning that like review the letters and the sounds and stuff. So we're just staying on those, and I'm making sure he gets really solid with that before we move on, because I know I want him to like have a good start and feel good about reading. So he's almost there. And I talk about this in my summer plans video, like homeschool planning for the summer, but I think we will continue with it in the summer just so that we can get a little bit more caught up. Update on him, he is having a little kindergarten graduation, which is so fun. I live in such a good area for homeschooling, I feel like. For the most part, you know, there's always some cons, but we have a really good, like big homeschool group in this community, and that's where your kids can do kindergarten graduations, they can do high school graduations, they do field trips, and there's like homeschool support meetings and all kinds of things. So that has been a group that we've been a part of forever, and my 8-year-old, he did the kindergarten graduation. So obviously my Jack has to do it. And he has his pictures this Saturday, which is gonna be so cute. I'm so excited for those. And then his graduation is in like May or something. So he is gonna do his kindergarten graduation, and I am going to consider him a first grader, even if he's still like next in the fall, even if he's still kind of working on some of his kindergarten stuff. However, I am gonna use this summer as like a catch up. So anyway, I talk about that more in my summer video, but I am loving switching to the Good and the Beautiful for him, and we're gonna stick with that. As far as Henry, my 8-year-old, who we switched to the 3rd grade level, he's in 2nd grade. We switched to the 3rd grade level. The Good and the Beautiful is perfect for him. It's right on his level of where he's at. It feels very similar to the level 3 All About Reading, and it's been going well. We're taking it slow since it's 3rd grade, and unlike math, I'm not trying to rush him with his language arts, so we're just gonna take it slow, and then we'll continue it into the fall. But I am so happy. So that's the updates. I'm happy, minus the literature. I have decided to cut the literature that they give you with the Good and the Beautiful for him and just use our Sunlight readers. So Sunlight is a literature-based curriculum, and they have readers like based on age level, and they actually coincide with like the history time that you are in, that your child is in. So which I think is just awesome, because when reading, you can be doing multiple subjects at once. You can be doing science, you can be doing history. So I love that these readers are talking about history, his time in history, that we're learning about American history. So that has been going great. And actually, when we were doing the Good and the Beautiful readers, it was like cutting back on our Sunlight reader. We didn't always have time, because there's only so much time in the day, Madison. I try to do so much stuff, and it's like, there's only so much time in the day when you have 4 kids. So anyway, We're just gonna do the Sunlight readers, which I love. My kindergartner will do their readers because they're very simple. I dig stuff like that. Watch my literature video if you wanna know why I don't like it. Once they get like real meat, they're actually reading paragraphs and chapter books, that's when I stop liking their literature. Another update, I did film, I don't know if it'll be up yet when I post this video, but I filmed a little like flip through review of Spelling You See. We are continuing this and enjoying it, even with The Good and the Beautiful. It doesn't take too long to do Spelling You See, so I have that as like his morning time stuff that he does, and that has been good. So, is that everything as far as like an update on our curriculum? My oldest, he does, who's 16, he does things online. He does Shoreman math. He's doing Algebra 2 with the second half credit of geometry. You get the first half in Algebra 1, which he did take that. So this is like our second almost full year of doing Shoreman math, and we really enjoyed it. He's very gifted in math though, but yeah, we have no problems and we enjoy it. So we like that. And then he's been doing BJU chemistry, which has been okay, but he just watches the, the videos for the science experiments. And I've been feeling kind of bad about that. I just don't have the bandwidth to do the experiments, like get the lab kit and everything like that with all my little ones. So, but I'll talk about classical conversations in a minute, and that might solve that problem. And then he's also doing not IEW, it's EIW. It's a very like simple and buildable English curriculum. I tried to do Sunlight with him and it was way too much for him. He's very capable but unmotivated. So you need to be motivated if you're gonna do Sunlight because it's a lot of reading and stuff. So I love Sunlight, love it. It just didn't work for him. So he's doing EIW for his English credit and a literature credit. And then he just like reads some history books. So that's kind of like what he's doing. Nothing is changing yet for him, but I'll talk about classical conversations in a minute. But yeah, and then my 3-year-old, you know, she's just being crazy as usual. She knows like all her letter sounds and she learns stuff because she's not about to be left behind, left out. Okay, what's the next thing? Okay, so our classical conversation visit, I will just get into that now. So, I'm excited. It's not perfect, you know, but I'm really excited about it. Like, it's kind of like how I get excited about curriculum. I feel like all of this exploration that I've been doing with curriculum has led me to classical conversations. I said when I brought it up last that I was like, no, years ago. And part of me wishes we would have started years ago because it's such like a building thing that I think it could have been good to start years ago, but we weren't ready. It wasn't the right time. That wasn't the right life experience. Just like we do chess club, we've been doing that for a few years. And I had thought, man, I wish we would have started that sooner, but it wasn't the right time for chess club. And so I just have to let that go and realize there is a time for everything. It's God's timing, and this is God's timing. But anyway, so I think I needed to really figure out what I like in a curriculum to realize that I would really like classical conversations. So I'll try to talk about that a little bit, but I want to update you guys on the visits. I do think if you're interested in classical conversations, you should visit more than one community. If you have more than one in your area, I wouldn't say go to like drive far away unless you have to. But I feel like if you drive far away to a community, then you've kind of lost that community because homeschoolers, like if we go to a homeschool event of some kind, we know somebody. Because we do so many different homeschooling things and we're in so many different groups, and we go to park day and we have this elective school we do. So there's always somebody that we know. But if we joined a classical conversations community that was like far away from our town, we wouldn't know anybody, we wouldn't have that connections. And I think that kind of takes away from the community aspect. So if you have in your area, like in our area, we have 2. So I decided to visit both of them. So I went to the first one, and that was my first time ever, you know, seeing classical conversations. So not only, I had nothing else to compare it to, but it was just like, okay, what is this about? It's very efficient. It's very like fast paced, like boom, bam, boom, boom, boom. Like, you go, the essentials, foundations is from 9 a.m. ish. They have like the pledge and stuff like that in the morning, but that starts around like 9:10 or whatever, but like 9-ish to noon. And they're pretty much going nonstop from like 9:20 to noon. And they just go from one thing to the next. So it is pretty tiring, I think, for me, but I feel like it's really efficient. They fit everything in. So anyway, I like that. Even though it's tiring, because you're supposed to stay there as the mom when you have kids like that are young, like just in foundations, it's tiring. I think somebody told me when you first visit, it's the most tiring because you're just not used to it. You don't know what's going on. You don't know anybody. And so it's just kind of like a learning curve. And so I can get that. But I think it'll always be a little bit tiring on me because I've just never loved like being somewhere for a long period of time. I'm honestly so surprised I want to do this. And I know that there will be days where I'm like, oh, I don't want to wake up early and go and do that. But that I think is some of my sinful, lazy nature. Some of it I think is like warranted. I don't want my kids trapped in a classroom all day, Monday through Friday. But other parts of it I think is a little bit of just like, you know, being lazy and wanting to sleep in and stuff. And so we're gonna do it. I really do enjoy it. So they do classical music, like the first community we went to, they had the pledge and all that, and they went to their rooms. Henry was in one room, my 8-year-old, and then my 2 littlest were in the same room, my 5 and 3-year-old. They only had like one room for that age, and it was mostly 5-year-olds, like mostly my 5-year-old's kids around his age. And there weren't any little girls, which was the real downside to me because I feel like my little girl, she's the only girl, and she wants girls and she doesn't get a lot of interaction with them. So that was a con to that community, was there wasn't like any little girls there. But they did, so in their class, which both classes, since Henry would also still be in foundations, they're doing similar stuff, just, you know, a little bit higher level for the older kids. So they listened to classical music while coloring. They did a bunch of songs, practicing like the history timeline, and which I think is so cool. And just they do a bunch of songs for like learning about science and math and history and grammar. They go do a science experiment. So on the day we went, I think every classical conversation does the same experiment. I don't know, but every community. But anyway, when we went the first time, the first community, it was, I'll show you guys. They made this. So they're studying like the inner parts of the earth and the atmosphere. It says the layers of the earth and the atmosphere. So they like painted this on with like glue, painted this like paper mache or whatever on, and then it's so efficient. They already had all of these like labels cut out for, or maybe, you know, you had to cut them out, but they were like ready to be cut out. They already had all these circles cut out. All the kids had to do was glue them on. Like, it's just very efficient, and I didn't have to do any of that. I had to help my child make this because he's only 5, and so I was there to help. And of course there's the tutor that they have running the class and the other person running the science experiment to help as well. But you know, you help your kid. Charlie made one too. She didn't do the labels because she's little, but she made one and she enjoyed it. I love that they do like a science experiment every single week because I would never do a science experiment otherwise. Like, it's just not my thing. It's too much preparation. I'm not that organized. I just know myself. I think it's good to know yourself, know your weaknesses. And I feel like this will just support me in that because science experiments, kids love doing this kind of stuff. Like, these are the science experiments, both days have been one of their favorite things. That when I've asked them, like, how'd the day go? What was your favorite part? The science experiments have been some of their favorite parts. So that's what they did on this first community day that we went to. And my 8-year-old made one as well with his class. What else do they do? Oh, they do a presentation. So even the little ones, so the little ones usually bring like a toy, or maybe they bring pictures of their cat or their dog, and they present on it. And then they're supposed to like ask the audience if they have questions, and then people, if none of the kids ask questions, the moms will ask a question and answer the questions, and then they'll say, if there's no more questions, this concludes my presentation. And I just think that's so cool that every single week they're doing something like that. Every single week they're getting practice having to speak in front of people. So, and express, share something. So love that so much. They do that as well with my 8-year-old's class. In that community, my 8-year-old had some friends he already knew, and then there was a good group of guys that he liked in that community, so that was a plus. And then they have lunch, and they might go to like a playground. Like in that community, there was a playground nearby, but it was like their job to clean or something, that class, and so only one person came to the playground. And unfortunately, that person was like not really talking well about classical conversations, and I kind of feel like she was a downer about it, honestly. And so I kind of left feeling a little bit down, I think just because of everything she was saying, but I was like, her issues didn't even really relate to my kids. It was very specific to her kid, and so I was just like, erase that from your mind, Max. So anyway, it was a great day. My kids all had a ton of fun, very tiring, but very fun. So that was the first community we went to. And then we went to another community today, which this community is actually full, but they're opening a second one. So they keep the classrooms really small, which I really like. I just totally believe in that. And so they're full, but they're opening a second one. So we just went there just to see what it's like there. I liked it more. There was a bunch of little girls, which I really liked for Charlie, because I feel bad for her that she's always around all these boys. And there were just some people we already knew. In the first community, there was a lady in Jack's class that I knew in the past. I didn't even recognize her at first. I don't think she ever recognized me. And I didn't really like her, and that's like so rare. Like, it's so random. I didn't even know she homeschooled her kid, like very random. And I was just like, I don't want to be around you once a week. So, and I don't know. I just got better vibes at the other community that we visited today. The science experiment they did today, they loved. It was on rocks, you know, like being like a little geologist. They like tested all these rocks. And they had like all these, like a chart and all these tests that they had to run. And so that was super fun. And I guess my 8-year-old got to do like rock bingo, which the younger ones didn't do that. Oh, and then when they listened to the classical music, the little ones, they gave them like a lollipop, and they let them lay on this blanket and listen, which my kids love lollipops. It was like an organic lollipop. And then in Henry's class, he said the kids usually bring a pillow and a blanket, and they turn off the lights and listen to the classical music. So one of the kids shared with him because we didn't bring that. But I just love that. I love that. It feels so different and fun. And then they also colored. It was like, this one was, how does this song, this classical music make you feel? And I think it was it Bach? I don't know. Don't ask me. I forgot. But, and then they did the timeline song, and it was very similar. I think the difference is this teacher in my 5-year-old's class was a better teacher. And that may just be like luck of the draw, but the other community we went to, it's all moms that do it. And she just wasn't she seemed very overwhelmed to be running like a 5-year-old and under class. Whereas this teacher was like very on top of things, a little bit strict, but nice, but like strict to keep the kids on task. And it was just a better teacher, I felt like. So that was something that was important to me, that I liked. What else did they do? Oh, and then after, at the end at lunch, they went out and played like kickball, which my son Henry, my kids are pretty sporty. My husband is sporty. So, and my oldest was always sporty too. So, but anyway, so they went outside and played for like an hour afterwards, after lunch. That was super fun. So it's a very tiring day, but very, very fun. We really enjoyed it. What else was there that we did today? Is there anything else I can think of? That's all I can think of. So, I loved it. Oh, she gave me this book, this brochure for classical conversations, and in it, it shows like what book recommendations they have for like each level. So this is Essentials, which is like ages 9 to 12. So my kids will be in Foundations, but this is like the next thing that they add on. And so if you're in Essentials, you go for a little bit longer after lunch. But you get like an hour to play. So like all those kids that are in Essentials that are like Henry was hanging out with, they had to leave after that hour to go to Essentials, but it was like a full hour of play, which I liked. But I love how it shows like the different books that you'll be using. Like they use IEW. I love, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. Dang it. Andrew Pudewa. I love Andrew Pudewa. I follow him on Instagram. He, like, I just feel like he's so smart, and his way of thinking when it comes to homeschooling is just like, I'm right there with him. I think he's hilarious. He knew Suzuki. The Suzuki method is like where it's like a method for learning music, violin, piano, stuff like that. And he like studied with him in Japan, which is crazy. I think Suzuki guy's dead now. But when I heard that, I was like, what? This guy, he knows some stuff. So anyway, he's the one that made IEW. I've always liked IEW, but it's very overwhelming for me. In Classical Conversations, they will support you. There are other moms there who understand it, and they give you like ideas of like what books and things to buy. So I like that. And then in some of the older levels, they tell you like what literature. There's like suggestions of what literature to read, which feels very Sunlight to me. A lot of this literature reminds me of some of the literature in Sunlight. Sunlight has more literature than this in each of their levels, but it just reminds me of like what Sunlight would pick. So to me, Classical Conversations is kind of like Sunlight, but with the art appreciation, the music appreciation, the music theory, the songs for memorization, all of those things that are kind of lacking, I feel, in Sunlight. And so it's like what I was missing when I've been searching for curriculum. And so that's why I was saying, like, I feel like now that I've been learning about my style and what I want my kids to learn, that has led me to this. So yeah, this has been really nice to be able to look at. My kids would be in foundations. Henry would only have one more year of foundations. So I guess there's all kinds of books for foundations, and they do a 10 whistle, which just for learning music theory, which I thought was fun because my kids obviously take piano lessons. So learning music theory is always a good thing. So anyway, we had a great time. Oh, and my oldest, I thought he couldn't join, so I didn't take him when we went to the first community because I thought he was too old. Like, you know, this all builds on itself, and you learn all these songs and memorize all this stuff so that you can use it when you're older. And so I felt like it was too late, but they actually told me it's not. And I think my oldest just needs to get out of the house once a week and be gone like the whole day doing something efficient and productive. Like at this point, I've got a 16-year-old boy, and I'm sure those of you that know or have 16-year-old boys, you get it. He needs something like that. And I actually may end up having my kids at two different communities because the first community we went to is the one that has high schoolers and the other one doesn't. So, there's that. But, okay, so that's that. I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about extracurriculars because that's something else that has changed this month. I had to let some stuff go as far as extracurriculars. We were doing too much. And it was overwhelming, and I felt like we couldn't move the needle on all these extracurricular activities because we were doing so many. So one thing we let go is gymnastics, which I don't even know if I've talked about that much on this channel, but we started gymnastics for the first time this school year in August or September. It was like the beginning of the school year. We started gymnastics, and we have loved it. It was twice a week, and we loved it, but I have found it was taking up a lot of our time being twice a week. And I know people who do gymnastics are probably like, yeah, it takes a lot of your time, and especially if you're more competitive, which we weren't even at that level yet. It was very expensive putting 3 kids in gymnastics, but also it was time consuming, and we have other things that we want to do, especially sporty things. Like I really loved it. I felt like it was good for their body. It was like a workout for them. Like I felt like it was really good. They learned stretches and all these things, but you know, what's more important to us is like soccer. Like my kids do soccer. Henry and Jack, my 8 and 5-year-old Jack, just started soccer this semester, and Henry's been doing it since he was 5. And we love doing those kinds of sports: soccer, baseball, basketball, all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of hard to do it all, you know. And so that was one thing we let go. That we have some non-negotiables, things we will not let go. That was when we decided to let go. Another thing we decided to let go is Henry's voice lessons. Henry had been doing piano and voice lessons. Jack was doing piano lessons. Henry's taken piano lessons since he was like 4. Jack has taken piano lessons since he was 5, which he's 5 now, but like when he first turned 5. And we will never stop piano. I love piano. My mom was a piano teacher. It has a special place in my heart, and I just think it's a really, really good instrument. So that is something, I think it's so good for the brain and everything. So we will not stop that. But voice, we got switched like 3 times to different voice teachers, which was like very disruptive in his learning and frustrating. I didn't really like the last voice teacher we had. The only time we could do voice, like was in the middle of the day. Like we had too many things going on in the middle of the school days, and so we really needed our lessons to be in the afternoon, which we can do that with piano, but if we added voice, we couldn't since we've had all these teacher changes. So for all those reasons, and also it's not like, Henry enjoyed it, but it's not like his top thing where he's like upset about not doing it anymore. So I decided let's just focus on piano and let go of voice so that we can really practice piano. It was really hard to like practice both and just have the time, especially when he's so young and I really have to be there supporting him and helping him practice. So that was something we let go. And I feel this like weight off my shoulders. So I feel really proud of myself for letting those things go. We have lots of other extracurriculars we do, like soccer, chess club. We go to this club called I don't want to say the names of it, but we have another homeschool club we do. We have an elective school we do. We have piano. I'm probably forgetting something, but anyway, we got a lot of stuff going on. So it felt good to let go of that. So this is your permission to, like, if you feel like your kids are in too many activities, maybe it's time to let some things go and just pick the high priority things. And then also I wanted to talk about my health just for a second because this video has gone on too long, but I was having like chest pains. They've kind of gone away recently, although I have had a little minor. It's from stress. Like I had a bad EKG, actually. I talk about this on my cleaning channel, like in a vlog, but I had a bad EKG, but it was just like one of the leads moved. So I thought I was dying at one point, but then I went to my regular doctor and I got cleared, no issues with the EKG. I've had tons of blood work done for autoimmune, thyroid, and all kinds of things, everything negative. So basically, I think it comes down to just stress. And I think as homeschoolers, it can be a lot because we don't get those breaks. And I think you need to take time for yourself. So this is me saying, take some time for yourself, okay? Because otherwise you are going to burn out or you're going to have severe health issues like I was starting to have with the chest pains. It wasn't just homeschooling, but that, you know, plays a part in it because my kids are still young and I'm very much they're in demand with them, and it's just, it can be a lot. So anyway, I am still trying to figure that out. I'm trying to read more. I kind of stopped. I got really into reading again and read like 8 books and then like stopped. So I need to get back into reading, but I'm trying to read. I'm trying to do my incline walking. I'm trying to take breaks when I need it and all of that stuff. So anyway, I see you if you are feeling overwhelmed and stressed and burnt out and losing your mind from homeschooling. I see you. I feel like, honestly, get a community. Like, that's why I love Classical Conversations. That's why I love Chess Club. It's one of the things I found such a good community in our chess club because the parents stay there. It's not like a drop-off thing. I feel like when it's not a drop-off and you have to stay, you meet other homeschool moms and you get that community. And there have been times where I've just been losing my mind and I just go and talk to them. And my kids are doing chess and everything and my little one's playing. And I talk to them and I have some like community with them where they understand and they're like, yeah, I get really stressed too. And it makes me feel like I'm not alone and I'm understood, and it makes me feel like I can keep going. So don't do this homeschooling thing alone. Find what community works for you. Even if it's a good friend, like my best friend, she homeschools. I think without her, I don't know if I would be here today homeschooling. Her and her kids have been like a gift from God. They have literally been a gift from God to me and my kids. So it's so important. And I say that because some people may be like, well, duh, but then there's those of us who are like introverts and more, you know, like reserved, with meeting new people who are like, oh, I need a community? Yes, you do. I'm telling you, all the people that I see quit, the times that I've quit in the past from homeschooling when I was homeschooling my oldest, which I actually have a video on how I regret quitting with him. And then with friends that I have that have quit homeschooling, they were not a big part of the community. They weren't coming to park day. They weren't doing like the groups for homeschooling. And I think you just can't do this alone, you know? So anyway, that's my little advice at the end of this March update video. So this was very long and very chatty, but I like that kind of thing. Maybe you had your coffee or your energy drink, or maybe you're folding laundry or whatever. Probably should have told you to do that at the beginning of this video, but anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was encouraging to you. If you are having a hard day with homeschooling or whatever, please comment down below and I will try to encourage you. Maybe others can encourage those people. If you have any questions, definitely leave them down below. I try to respond to every single comment. Give this video a thumbs up. That tells YouTube it was a good video. They might push it to others, and so it's just a free way to support my channel. Subscribe and click the bell to be notified when I post new videos. I've been trying to post at least every Saturday, and then sometimes on Tuesday or Wednesday. So definitely click the bell to be notified, because it can be random. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.